Hi folks, welcome to Motorcycle Ways. Today I'm going to be washing and cleaning my Honda CB 500X. But before I do, I need to get some cleaning products. So I'm just on my way to Halfords at the moment to pick up those. And I've stopped off here at this scenic location just for a break. Seeing as the day is good, it's nice to get out on the bike. And so when I get home, I'll be giving the bike a wash and a clean, and I'll go through it step by step on the best way to clean your motorcycle. Okay, so I'm back home again, ready to start washing and cleaning my Honda CB 500X. Bit cool out this afternoon now, so I had to put on my cap. So let's take a look at what I picked up in Halfords. So here's what I picked up in Halfords. A wash mitt, microfiber wash mitt, a microfiber towel for drying the bike, and some Auto Glim Fast Glass. Now the idea of the Auto Glim Fast Glass is Auto Glim claims that it puts a good finish on matte black. So for matte paints, I couldn't find anything else in Halfords that would do the job. So I said I'm going to give this a try and see how it works out. And as well as that, I've got some microfiber cloths for cleaning, a brush for agitating, and here is my detergent I'm using. This is a basic household product. It's actually Aldi Magnum Premium washing up liquid. Now I know what you're thinking, is he mad? Well, no. Actually, Bennett's Bike Social have done some extensive research into this, and they have done a good video on it. I'll leave a link to the video on the description down below if you want to have a look at it. And they've tested several bike products for cleaning. Some they found to be good, and in addition to that, Aldi's Magnum Premium washing up liquid was something they found to be a good detergent for washing, and it doesn't do any damage to your paintwork or to your bike. It has a low pH level, and that's something that you're looking for when you're looking for a detergent for your bike. The pH level to be right, so it doesn't do any damage to seals or paintwork or that. So I'm going to give this a go and see how it comes out, and we'll take it from there. So how often do you wash your bike? I don't wash mine all that often, maybe once a month or so. The more often you wash it, the more likely you are to fade the paintwork or do some damage with scratching or that using chemicals. It depends really on the terrain that you're on, and I'm mostly on tarmac macadam. I don't really do any off-road or that, so it's probably the most dirt you have is on the front of the bike, like the shield with bugs and that type of thing, as you can see there. It needs a good clean, the headlight. And but overall it's not bad. The downpipes and that is something I'll be giving a going over to. So they should come up quite well, they're not that bad really. And the engine do it a spruce up. So I don't recommend using a car wash. You don't want a high pressure hose doing damage. The bike is much more exposed than a car, of course. You've got the rubber seals, and you've got electrics, and you've got all stuff exposed that you wouldn't have exposed in a car that you could use a power wash on. So I'm going to be using a hose pipe here, and so you don't want to be doing damage with a high pressure hose. Over time, you mightn't see it today, but over time it can be doing damage. And as well as that, with a car wash, they're using certain chemicals that you don't know really what's in them. At least if you're buying your own chemicals at home, your own detergents and that, you have a good idea what's in them and what they can do. So I'll start by hosing down the bike first from top to bottom, and that'll hose any loose dirt and dust off the bike, so that when you do start washing it with the mitt, that it's not rubbing in any of that dirt and causing scratches or that. So I'm going to start by removing the top box and side panniers, just to take them out of the way, make it easier for washing and cleaning. So let's get started. Now I've got a basin and a bucket here that I will be working out of. The basin contains the suds and the bucket just contains clean water. So I'll be using the suds to wash the bike, and then every time I finish wiping the bike, I'll be dipping it into the clean water just to give it a clean before I put it back into the suds. And that way it keeps your mitt clean and gets the grit off it, rather than dipping it back into the suds again and putting it back on the bike. So I'm starting at the top and working my way down. It's the easiest way. So when working with the paintwork, it's best to make motions back and forth like that, rather than circular motions. And the idea being, if you were going to create a scratch, at least you'd have a scratch running back and over, and not a circular scratch around, which would be much more difficult to get out and more noticeable. So just work back and forth like that with the mitt. I'll be just using the mitt on the bodywork, of course. I won't use it on the engine or any of the dirtier components like that. So now that it's all washed down, it's better, you need to give it a good rinse, and make sure to take all the suds off thoroughly. Okay, so now that we have the body work washed, we're going to start on the lower part of the motorcycle, the engine. And the chain is something I have already cleaned. I've made a previous video about that, which I'll leave a link to in the description, how to clean and maintain your chain. So we'll get on with cleaning the engine and the awkward to get at places underneath the arch and that. So I'm going to use the spray bottle of washing up liquid and see how we get on with that. Now I do have a degreaser here as well. That's from Holt's, engine and parts degreaser. So you can use that on the engine or oily parts that are hard to remove. A degreaser, just be careful that it doesn't get on the paintwork, or that you don't mix up any cloths that you'd use on the paintwork again and do damage. So let's continue on. Now there are a couple of areas on the lower part of the bike, like around the engine and that, where there's stubborn grease that won't come off, so I'm just going to use a bit of degreaser to try and remove them. So now that I have it all rinsed off again, I'm just going to blow it off, the excess water with the airline. Just to ensure that when you're blowing near electrics or switches, that you sort of blow across them and not, don't blow the water into the switches. Try and blow it off them. So now with my microfiber towel, I'm just going to dry off any excess water. So I'm back inside the shed again, where it's a bit warmer. So I'm going to finish off cleaning the bike. So I'm going to try the Auto Glim Fast Glass and see what sort of a finish it puts on the bike. So I'm just going to spray this on, actually, on the bodywork here. And using a microfiber cloth, I'm going to wipe it in. Don't have to rub too aggressively, just nice and easy to avoid any scratches. You want to be using a clean, preferably a new cloth on this. Now this will do plastics and acrylics. It's free from silicones and waxes and stuff like that, so it's safe to use. On the windshield, I won't use it on the windshield, but I will be cleaning that after I just get finished here. And I'll show you the best way. Clean the windshield without damaging it. Okay, so what do you think of that? It looks pretty good. The Autoglyn Fast Glass put a good shine on it. Brought it up nicely. It is said to be a good product for matte black finishes. Now there are plenty of other products on the market you can get for matte paint to finish it off. But that's the one I could get my hands on at the moment, so that has brought it up nicely, quite a good shine on it. So it's come out pretty well. I'm happy with it. And you need something to put an elastic coat on it, like a wax, a finish, matte black finish on it, just to protect it. Take the marks off it too, and it'll look better for longer. So what have I left to do? The windshield needs to be done, still dirty. So we'll tackle that job next. So now for the screen, what do we clean that with? I don't like using any chemicals on the screen because they can discolor it or scratch it. So some people do use a glass cleaner, but it's not glass, so there's chemicals in glass cleaner that can damage it. This is an acrylic or a plexiglass, as I call it, but it's just a plastic really. So you need to take care that you don't use harsh chemicals on it, as cleaners, and wiping it can scratch it and discolor it or even crack it in some cases. So what I do simply is just get a damp cloth, an ordinary cloth, and wet it, soak it in water, and just drape it over it. And leave it there for about 10 minutes. And what that'll do is soften up any dirt or bugs that's on the screen. And then it will be easy to wipe them off. So we'll just leave that there for 10 minutes or so, and we'll come back to it and we'll see how it is. Now let's just take a look at the downpipes while we're waiting for that rag to soak in on the screen. So they're not terribly bad. There are marks here and there, as you can see there, that needs to come off, and they need to be polished up. The downpipes were badly discolored, or that you could use something like Dr. Downpipe or products like that. There's plenty on the market there that would clean them up, and use a Scotch pad and You get a shine on them, and there's a polish you can get for stainless steel. That'll bring them up. I have a stainless steel cleaner there that I will use afterwards. But before I use the stainless steel cleaner, I'm just going to try out the good old auto glim again and see will it take off the debris off it. And I'm just going to spray a bit on there and use a light scotch pad there I have, and see if it'll take the main dirt off it. Now when they're cleaning the downpipes, it's just best to go back and over like that. You normally in stainless steel downpipes like that, the grain is going horizontal rather than vertical. So you want to go with the grain so you don't cause scratches. And try and loosen up the dirt as much as possible. There's tar and bits and pieces like that stuck to them. So just with a small bit of elbow grease, I can see that it's removing it. So this auto glim is getting a variety of uses today. So we can see here is an area that's quite bad. So let's see if this will shift some of that off. Just let that soak in there for a minute. So now we can see, just after a few minutes of scrubbing there, that bit of elbow grease, that the marks have come off. So I'm just going to hose them down with some water. Spray can there. Just to get rid of that off them, and wipe down a clean cloth, and then I'll try some stainless steel cleaner on it just to bring a shine up on them. So the stainless steel cleaner I'm using is just a Zif Perfect Finish stainless steel, and I'm just going to spray that on there. With clean cloth, I'm going to wipe them down. This should bring a shine up on them. Clean any marks off. So now that has buffed them up nicely. They've come out well, I think, compared to what they were like. So now back to our screen again. Let's take off the cloth, give it a bit of small bit of a rub there. Take off any bits and pieces. Let's see what it's like. That is, as you can see, softened up all the bugs and stuff that was on it. So with a slight wipe, just gently back and over and take off any remaining bugs that are on it. You don't want to rub it too hard, put marks on it. So this is a better idea than using chemicals on this screen, because over time use of chemicals can fade it, discolor it, and leave marks on it. Whereas this way it'll stay in better condition for longer, and you'll still get up the screen just as clean. Then to dry it off, just get a dry cloth again and drape it over it. And you can just use that gently to dry off the screen. So you won't put marks on it. It can be awkward to get to the inside of the screen in places, but you can remove the screen, just the 4 bolts there, if you want to take it off and bring it to the table or the bench and work on it there if it's easier. But I'm just going to do it like this for this time. So now there we can see our screen, the finished product. It's by no means immaculate, that screen, because there was marks on it before from somebody that washed it and maybe used God knows what on it, but that's a good example that once it is marked, it is nearly impossible to get the marks out of it. So it pays just to look after the screens and take care of them when you're washing them, not just to scrub them with anything, because they do get easily marked and damaged. And that's our Honda CB500X washed and cleaned for another while. It's looking pretty good. There I see something on the exhaust I forgot to take off. I taped the back of the exhaust just so the water wouldn't get into it when I was washing it. It's no harm to have some sort of bung or tape up that, just to stop the water from going down into the exhaust. Usually it'll probably blow it out when it started, but it's better not to get any water into it in the first place. So, and another, just to mention on covers, or if you're covering your bike, not to cover it when it's wet, really. So if you wash your bike, or if you come back from day out in the rain and put a cover over your bike, you're better to try and let the bike dry out first before you cover it, because you're just covering in that dampness really, and it keeps the dampness inside the cover, and it gets into electrics and stuff and can do damage over time. So I know it's not easy for some people who mightn't have a shed to put it straight into, but putting a cover over a wet bike is not ideal really. If you're trying to dry out a bit before you cover it up, it won't hold in that dampness then. So washing and cleaning your bike is an ideal opportunity to see that if there's anything out of place or something wrong that needs fixing that you might not otherwise see. So it's a good way of maintaining your bike and keeping it in good order. So I hope you got something out of this video and that you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. And thanks very much for watching.